And welcome in Chiefs Kingdom to Cheifs Latest, your one-stop spot for everything Kansas City Chiefs in 15 minutes or less. Happy Monday, new start of the week, and man, life is good. We had a full weekend of football, nothing better than that. We're finally getting into that time of the year, just two more preseason games, and then we'll see the Chiefs kick off the regular season and see who makes the 53-man roster. But we got a good taste of what is out there in that first preseason game. We're going to break it all down, but before we do, you know the drill. That's right. If you're listening on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on those notifications because we had videos daily. That's right, daily videos Monday through Friday here at Cheifs Latest. You're not going to want to miss any of the action. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast or anywhere that you can get a podcast, go ahead, leave 5 stars and a thumbs up. We appreciate it. You're not going to want to miss any of the news or action regarding the Kansas City Chiefs. So make sure you follow us on all platforms, as it not only helps me in the channel, but it's going to help you stay up to date with everything Kansas City Chiefs. Now, we're going to talk about the offense first. We know that the Chiefs lost to the Cardinals on Saturday. It was a mixed bag, both offensively and defensively, but the offense did show out in flashes. I think Robert Tonyan, I think he stole the show. He snagged 3 catches for 49 yards, 20 yards, 19 yards, and 10 yards. So pretty deep passes for him. He led all pass catchers, and I think he might have solidified the tight end 3 position. I think behind Kelsey, behind Gray, I think he's our next best option, especially with some stout blocking that we saw on Saturday. He's a playoff-tested vet. He had his best season with the Packers and Rodgers back in 2020. He had 586 yards and 11 touchdowns. And in this system, especially, with Rice's suspension looming, Kelsey's just getting older and, he's on the horizon of retirement. I think that this could have a bigger role for Tonyan than expected, especially earlier on than expected. Also, Bailey Zappi, he was a mess. Now, hopefully we don't get down to our third string quarterback this season, but he completed 8 of 17 passes for 70 yards through 2 picks. I swore I could have thrown some better passes out there than what he was doing, and he took a sack across 5 drives. Ill-advised throws into coverage. Like I said, I thought I could make some better reads and throws. He was trying to do too much. Now, maybe he was auditioning, for another team's backup gig. Maybe he was trying to air it out and get some hype and hopefully something went his way. But as you saw, 2 interceptions went the complete opposite of what he was trying to do. But Chris Duncan, he brought in some juice in the fourth quarter. Scrambling ability, it shines. I think that it helps him maybe take that third quarterback position. He's been with the Chiefs for a while now. He knows the system. And that scrambling ability, I think that is especially good for the scout team work. But we're going to continue on. Jason Brownlee, he also turned some heads offensively. He had that touchdown grab from Mahomes. I think there might be some untapped wide receiver depth behind this wide receiver room, including if you throw in the name of like Tyquan Thornton. Josh Simmons, he impressed, thank goodness. And they left him in for more than 4 drives in what we saw last year. Pressed in his first action, especially since he's coming off an injury. His last action at Ohio State, he was injured. So like I said, played 11 snaps in the preseason game. He was stonewalling Baron Browning, who had 2 sacks versus KC back 2 seasons ago, I think. But again, the real issue is the O-line depth. Wanye Morris, Hunter Norsad, they did not look good. In fact, the whole second string of offensive linemen did not look good. But besides that, Nico Remigio still had a great return. That just puts more pressure on Sky Moore, and especially Moore's roster spot. So when it comes to this roster, once again, I think, Tonyan's performance, I think, again, he gets that tight end 3 spot. Brownlee's touchdown, I think that might warrant a closer look. But again, limited special teams impact. That might leave him off the finalized roster. But again, Remigio and his return and what we saw there, that just showcases why the Chiefs gave him the keys to be the returner. Again, that could be enough to push Sky Moore off this roster. And I think everyone's ready to push Sky Moore off this roster. So, again, hopefully we don't get down this far in the depth chart, but Zappi struggled. I would give Chris, the edge for quarterback 3. He's deserved it. But again, those O-line depth issues do loom kind of large. So definitely some offensive bright spots again. Josh Simmons and what we saw from Brownlee. I think there was some good chunks there, but that O-line depth, if we cannot figure out our O-line again to keep Mahomes up, especially if we face some injuries, it's going to be another long, well, maybe not even long season, but another long Super Bowl if we get to that point. Well, let's go to the defense now and my takeaways from the game on the defensive side of the ball because, like the offense, it had its moments. But again, a loss to the Cardinals. The first couple drives, they were, not breaking, but they were definitely bending a little bit. So we'll get all that. But I think Christian Roland Wallace, I think he is emerging and did emerge as the night's biggest winner on Saturday. Again, forced a fumble off the opening kickoff, got that, snagged an interception off the overthrow. I think that just shows his ability to, play safety, and not only that, but to just be moved around a little bit, especially when we're facing some injuries, which we're going to get to here in the next segment. But Joshua Williams, however, no surprise, but he keeps sliding. He didn't play till later in the game, didn't really get his shine till later in the game to be that guy. So again, he keeps falling, even though he's had 50 games and 12 starts over 3 seasons. We keep seeing him go down, and it's been said that he's probably likely a trade piece or a trade bait for Veach. Again, Dallas, Carolina might reach out for him. So, again, no surprise necessarily from what we've seen from camp, but again, just seems like the rumors of him being a trade piece are true, I guess. And then if we look at rookie linebacker Jeffrey Bassa, again, a fifth rounder, he was a tackling machine, 6 stops, including a quarterback hit, flash some speed, flash those instincts behind the line. We're going to need some good run stopping. That seemed to be an issue. Again, we'll get into all this. But Jaden Hicks added a pick. Rookie Noah Williams, he impressed with 3 solo tackles, a tackle for loss, and a pass defended in the end zone. So you love to see that. The defense, again, it did bend some, and we all saw it. It's kind of scary, especially in the preseason, but thankfully, the Cardinals, they're incompetent to a degree. I mean, we saw Kyler Murray's interception there. They were obviously the best competition either, but the fact that, yes, you didn't break, but you were bending a lot, especially in that first couple of drives. But the rookie impact, again, Roland Wallace, Bassa, Williams, no Williams, that is. It flashes and highlights a rookie class that I think is ready to contribute and could be one of Brett Beach's best, especially, again, with injuries. Not that these injuries are good, but it's making these rookies and these young guys step up. But again, injuries to the secondary, linebacking core just wants to get a little better. So this could be a great rookie class. But again, Roland Wallace's turnovers, Boss's tackles, and no Williams. I think those were the 3 highlights. I think those 3 were physical. I like how they played the game. Again, just a defensive bright spots. But Joshua Williams, yeah, his depth chart, it keeps tumbling down. He's likely a trade piece. And again, Arizona's ability to move the ball down the field shows that we need to tighten up in certain areas. But I did mention that those injuries keep coming up. Seem like we can't escape from them, and they're getting scarier and scarier. But again, it was the secondary bringing some big hits. But again, those big hits resulted in some injuries that sting. Jalen Watson left early with a concussion. Deion Bush was carted off with a confirmed Achilles tear. So not good. Of course, the tear is worse, but again, it's a player that's not starting, where Watson is a starter, so you hate to see him go out, but hopefully the concussion, they can get that figured out very quickly. But again, Bush was a Dave Tope favorite. He had that special teams, knack to him. Yeah, I mean, he's been a special teams rock for 3 years with the Chiefs. But again, limited safety, dwindling defensive snaps, so he's probably just going to mostly be special teams. He was a practice squad lock behind, Edwards, Hicks, Cooks, Connor. That's a pretty decent room. But this injury, again, is going to end his 2025 hopes. Watson's concussion, though, as I mentioned, sucks because he is a starter. Opposite of McDuffie, missed all but 6 games in 2024 after ankle surgery. And, of course, we know in 2026, free agency looming, any extended absence is going to hurt his stock. And not only is it going to hurt his stock, but it's going to hurt our secondary. It's already shaky. Fulton's just now coming up the PUP list. Who knows what he's going to look like? So if you do have a healthy McDuffie, Fulton, Watson trio, I think that, McDuffie gets a slide to slot. Johnson and Connor are your depth pieces. Rookie No Williams, he's learning slowly. Without Watson, then you start looking at it's a depth string. You start looking down the depth chart. It's forcing untested pieces. But again, if people like Roland Wallace are stepping up this season, we'll see how they do in a bigger role. But is that something you want to rely on, especially if you're trying to get back to the Super Bowl? So we got 2 preseason games left before the Chargers in week 1. The Chiefs, again, they got to, walk this tightrope. They have to stay healthy, but they still have to get players reps. these injuries, piled on. Then you have already Rice hurt and a suspension happening, Brown's absences. You're testing some roster management, but again, it's giving these rookies and other people a chance to step up to see what you have depth-wise. So Watson's injury, that pushes Roland Wallace, Noah Williams into the spotlight. And I guess if they have to be pushed in the spotlight, you might as well do it now in the preseason. But again, yeah, Bush's loss. Again, probably not going to have much on the defensive side in the safety position, but it still sucks. So Spags, working the depth chart just a little bit there. But yeah, Watson's concussion, Bush's Achilles tear, that does hit the Chiefs secondary, and it hits them pretty hard in a way. So you're threatening starter depth, you're threatening special teams reliability. And again, with only 2 preseason games to adjust before week 1, you want to get everyone with the, rust knock off, but also you got to walk a tightrope of keeping everyone healthy. Well, because of all these injuries, and because we know that the secondary was still a little shaky, especially in the eyes of the fans here, just going on social media and reading what everyone has to say, I get it. There is some worry, but we also have to remember this was the first preseason game. Everyone's going to look a little rusty and whatnot. Everyone's a little nervous, but you do, again, lose your safety like Bush. It's not as brutal as losing Hicks or Connor. If it was that case, I think you would have to look at someone like Justin Simmons to bring in. But again, the quarterback room, it might need a veteran jolt or just maybe even another depth piece back there veteran-wise. Well, as we know, free agency is a tough market right now. Basically, everyone's picked up that needs to be picked up, but there are still some options. Rasul Douglas, Asante Samuel Jr., and just Stephon Gilmore. I would say those are your 3 best options, but not only that, those are your 3 remaining options. If we're going to be real, those are your 3 remaining legitimate options. I'm not even saying who fits best here or there. It's your 3 best just options remaining if you need to go this route. Again, Douglas turning 30, 2023 ball hawk, 4 interceptions, 38.6 passer rating when he was thrown to, but he stumbled in 2024, 122 passer rating. His 6'2" frame, that's going to lock down the boundary with McDuffie. So that's nice there. Samuel, he's only 25. He brings 6 career interceptions, 37 pass breakups. But again, he has some issues. 2024 shoulder injury, neck surgery. That scares me. High upside, high risk there. And Gilmore, 34, he isn't the 2019 defensive player anymore. We know that. But again, he has some durability, nice 9 pass deflections, run stopping chops. He had a 77.6 PFF grade when it came to stopping the run. That screams some veteran stability. So if we're looking at all this again, 2023 for Douglas, great. 4 interceptions, 38.6 passer rating allowed in 9 games. But again, last season, 43 catches allowed, 59 targets, 518 yards, 4 touchdowns, 122 passer rating, 58.2 PFF grade. A lot of work to be done there, but there is that raw talent that you can unlock. Asante Samuel Jr., 2024, 4 games, 13 tackles, 2 pass deflections. But 2021 to 2023, he had 6 interceptions, 37 pass breakups, and a 90 passer rating allowed, or somewhere around there. And then last but not least, again, Gilmore, last season, 1 interception, 9 pass deflections, 56 tackles, around a 60 PFF coverage grade, 77.6 run defensive grade. So if we're looking at how this all fits, again, Douglas's zone instincts, his length, I think that makes him a natural fit to pair with Watson outside. You look at Samuel, I think his quickness could thrive in the slot if healthy, and then Gilmore's experience, his box versatility, I think that offers a safety net for McDuffie and Williams against, these AFC West pass attacks. So again, these are your best options. These are your 3 remaining options: Douglas, Samuel, Gilmore. Any of them, I think, could help stabilize the secondary. Of course, some fit better than others, but when you're down to 3 options, you really can't be that picky. Not saying that they need to go after it. I see a lot of people in the comments always get mad of, why would they do this, Calvin? I'm just saying what the rumors are and how I think it could work, not saying it always needs to work. That's all I have to say on this lovely Friday here at Cheifs Latest. Once again, you are listening to me, Calvin Silvers, but I would love if you guys continue to listen to me and go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Do whatever you can. If you're on Spotify, give us 5 stars. We appreciate it. And as I said, I read your guys' comments. I do. So go ahead, leave a comment down in the comment section of just what you thought about Saturday's preseason games. What was your biggest takeaways there? And also, do any of the 3 options I gave at quarterback sound good to you? I'm not sure. Let me know, though. As I mentioned, I am your host, Calvin Silvers. Daily videos Monday through Friday here at Cheifs Latest. And until next time, have a good one.